All right, welcome back. San Diego Spotlight. Derek Evans here, your host. We got Rudy Padilla from Lava Propane in the studio today. And I've also got Mark Schuline with Crown Ace Hardware. I do want to give a special shout out to Jeff Anderson. He is a marketing consultant who really set this up. He's in studio today, kind of over in the Peanut Gallery. Jeff, really thanks for setting this up. It's been great. I've learned a ton. I know everyone listening has as well. And this is really good local business, and I think that there should be more of an emphasis on that. And I'm glad to hear that people are going in that direction. I've been that way for a long time. And I think if you want to support local businesses and you understand how important that is, you know, that it really does matter. It really matters to the community when you do that. I think you'll find that you get some fulfillment from it too. But I have a question for each of you that I derived throughout the show today. And I think this is something where we could really help someone out there in your personal experiences with your businesses. So Rudy, I want to ask you first, because you're a guy who started this business from scratch. I mean, you had nothing. You had a truck and you started this Lava Propane business.
Right.
What advice do you have for someone out there who's looking to start their own business? You know, if you could give them one or two tips on what to do, regardless of what type of business that is, what would you give them based on your experience?
Well, I would say, you know, for me, it was it took a few months of business planning, but at some point that kind of goes out the window with with the reality of the business environment. So, what you need to do is look at the opportunities, and for me, it was easy because you look at all these other companies, and like Mark was mentioning earlier, is service has really gone downhill. So, if you look and you could find a niche and what you really feel that you could bring something to the table that somebody else is going to benefit from, not just you. If you look at everyone else, it's bound to take off. And
do you think researching the competitors and trying to do what they're doing better than they are?
Absolutely.
That's the key.
And not just the competitors. I mean, you know, we have our challenges. It would be a no-brainer if everybody said, you know, you have two tanks in front of you. Do you want the one with half a gallon more, or do you want the one with half a gallon less? Everyone would take the one with more.
Yeah.
But you know, to get that word out there isn't cheap. But
it's not easy.
It's not easy. I mean, you could get someone like Jeff Anderson to help us as best he can with our budget, and it's not like you know, Pepsi or Coke or something. So, you know, that's kind of the challenge, but if you're willing to put in the time and the effort and actually truly feel that you have something to bring to the table, I would say it would work out. So
how hard did you have to stick with it? How many times were you at a point where you're like, man, we really got to power through this rough spot here?
Well, it's funny you say that because I was telling Mark earlier too. I started when the economy started tanking, so it could be a good and bad thing because, you know, we were growing and then it just halted, and, you know, that could have taken us to the cleaners. Luckily, we did have some financial backing that we'd saved and we were ready for that. But I think that the biggest challenge is just to get through it, just to keep chugging along in what you really believe and to things don't happen overnight, so you just got to keep going. And,
you ready to fight?
That's it. You just, you know, as long as you can pay your bills, I think you're okay. But there are legal things, you know, any business now, you really have to research the legalities and look at, you know, especially in California, people will, you know, try to get whatever they can. There are certain people out there that take advantage and prey, but. Yeah,
so minimize risks, stay focused on your vision, and basically stick it out.
Right.
Okay, I can totally get that. Now, Mark, with your business, you guys have been around for so long, and it was actually, you know, it started. Your dad took over these stores. When was it? 1970.
74. He took over one store.
One store in 74. How many stores do you guys have now?
We have 17 right now.
17 stores. So you've got a lot of experience here in kind of growing a business. A lot of people are afraid of the family business. Now, I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if it's because, you know, I want to be my own person, I want to do my own thing, I want to create my own legacy, or I don't want dad to be my boss. I don't know what it is. But I know a lot of people who have, you know, parents that have successful businesses, and they wouldn't get near it with a 10-foot pole. What advice do you have for someone who's in that situation, who is thinking about or has the opportunity to look at joining a family business?
You know, it's a great question. It's a conversation I have pretty often because our world, the Ace Hardware store world, is made up of a lot of family businesses. So because I've been in it for a long time and we've had some success with it, I tend to become a sounding board, and it varies. It all comes down to personalities. My dad and myself, and I love him to death, but we definitely we have a different view on management, on leadership, on operations. I'm very strategic. He's very tactical. So it definitely adds some elements. But, for me, it just took time. The first couple of years were admittedly very challenging. But the reality is, and some of the advice I got before I decided to come into the family business was, if your goal is, and many businesses, if your goal is to own your own business and you have the opportunity to own your family business somewhere down the road, you owe it yourself to give it a try. If it doesn't work, so be it. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And the advice that I got from a very successful friend of the family who I went and interviewed with prior to this, just to kind of vet it out, he said, Mark, it doesn't matter if you're selling shoes or boats or hardware. It's a people business. Retail is retail. And, hardware might not be sexy, but it's a good long-term business, and it's worth a shot. And that's what started it for me. So I really think it comes down to being able to, operate with respect with the individual. This is such a long conversation, Derek. We could go on and on and on. But ultimately, it's if there's an opportunity there, it's worth trying. But it does not come easy. But then again, as we're talking with Rudy, business is never easy.
Yeah,
right.
It's not. And so your advice is specifically to give it a shot.
Give it a shot, for sure.
Do you have kids?
I have 3 kids. And I don't know if
any
of them will be following in my footsteps. I don't know if they'll want to. My parents never pushed me into it. It was a big surprise when I actually went to them and discussed it. If they ever want to, we'll have a great conversation, and I hope that they would, but I'll never impose it on them.
Okay. Rudy, what about you? Do you have kids?
Absolutely.
Ever thought about this?
I have 4 kids.
4 kids. They're going to carry on the lava legacy?
Probably not. No.
No?
No. I need a little marine biologist. I need a lawyer. I need a few things. So I think they're going to have to try something else.
Try something else?
I'll leave it up to them.
Well, I mean, by that time, you'll be in Ace Hardware stores all over the country, and you guys can just sit on your own private island and
maybe
figure it out.
The Reefs. I found out that Mark has a son whose name is Reef, like our son, and
really?
That's funny. I haven't met another Reef. So
well, maybe you guys could swap businesses then.
So the Reefs could go at it.
Maybe your son can run lava
rule the
and his
world.
can join Crown Ace.
Solution. You never know. Never know.
Well, we're talking about locally owned, family style businesses here, but not just because they're locally owned, but because they actually provide something that is unique in the marketplace. With Lava Propane, we're talking about simply getting more propane, better service, and you're getting more propane for the same dollar. Now, why anyone wouldn't want that, I have no idea. I don't think there's an allegiance to ABC propane brand out there. So if you're looking for a propane brand to get some allegiance to, Lava Propane makes a lot of sense. And if you met Rudy Padilla today, if you heard him speak, you'll see why. He's a genuine guy. LavaPropane.com, you can find out more on where you can get some Lava Propane. It's more propane for the same dollar. And when you think about, I think when people hear Ace Hardware, something good comes to their head. At least it does for me. It's a place where solutions are found, where problems are solved, and that's a really good thing. And Crown Ace has been around for a long time. 17 locations total, 3 here in San Diego. And if you're, especially Christmas lighting wise, if you're looking for that, take a look at Crown Ace. But when you are in a Crown Ace, notice exactly what your experience is like, and I think you'll understand why it's better based on today's show. Guys, I really appreciate your time. I could talk to you all forever. This has been fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it.
All right, great stuff. Adam Clark, you did a fantastic job running the show today. As usual, we'll be back again on Tuesday at 2 o'clock for more of the San Diego Spotlight right here on ESPN 1700. We'll see you then.